Hey everyone, I am Ian.
And I'm Nicole, and we're the Low Pucks.
Today's video is about Frugal February. We are going to be saving $1,000 this February by being extra frugal. And that $1,000 over the course of 30 years invested wisely will actually turn into $13,000 for our retirements. And it will be yielding $400 in passive income that we can use to pay our living expenses later in life. We were inspired by Canna Campbell from Sugar Mama TV. She is the author of Mindful Money. And she put forth a challenge that everyone could participate in for Frugal February. So we have an action-packed agenda today. Nicole is going to be covering a ton of money-saving tips that we are employing for our own family. We're going to talk about the power of saving $1,000 in terms of compounding it over time. We are going to talk about the stock actually that we are going to be buying with the $1,000 that we save.
Yeah, so let's just start off by being honest and being candid. We're not the most frugal people, so this is a challenge for us. There's spenders and there's savers. We tend to be spenders, especially this one. He likes nice things. So do I. But you know what? There's a lot of techniques that we've done, especially this month, that's helping us save money. But I'm going to stop you right there. This video is not about extreme frugality. If you're looking for ways to save 25 cents here and there, like a coworker of his that used to bring his own cheese to McDonald's to save money, or coworkers of mine that used to shower exclusively in the office, this isn't that type of video, but we have come up with some creative ways to save money that maybe you haven't thought of, and we're excited to share them with you today.
All right, everyone. So we are going to begin today, the first segment of the video, with some of our favorite money-saving tips.
The first one, which is the best one in my opinion, is the Buy Nothing Project. If you're not familiar with it, take a moment to research this. It's actually a worldwide movement. In our community here, a Buy Nothing Facebook group started about a year ago, and I was kind of early on in that group, and it's been really a blessing for us, first of all, to be able to connect with our community, to be able to pass along things that we no longer need, that no longer bring us joy, and also let's face it, the rewards as well of being able to get things that we need or that we want or that we would enjoy without having to spend any money for it and meet our neighbors in the process. It's been especially great for kids things, getting like practically brand new shoes, whether your kids are into Star Wars or Minnie Mouse. There's something for everyone. And because of the area in which we live, there's actually a lot of like designer type of things as well. Like these Free People leggings, I love these. I can't stop wearing these. These cost over $100. They were practically new. I was able to receive them in the group, or even like these little mini Bowden shorts. The women probably know what I'm talking about. This is just such nice children's clothing. And even Ian, who is likes everything designer, everything new. I love thrift stores and garage sales and all that kind of stuff and a good deal, but he's more into, new price tags, premium. Even he got brand new workout pants.
These are really good quality. I've really enjoyed wearing these pants.
Yeah, and it was like this lady, her husband, she put his specs online, and he was a little bit shorter than Ian, and she said, these pants are too long. I said, well, my husband is a little bit taller than yours, so it worked out perfectly, and Ian will show you a book that I got as well that he's really, really enjoyed recently.
This has been fabulous. I've actually shared this book by Tony Dungy on my Instagram feed. This is a book that Nicole picked up. It's a daily devotional where Tony goes through different passages in the Bible and relates it to life and makes it easy to understand. And one of the things we're doing this year just as a family is being more spiritual. We've been attending church. It's been amazing. This is because of Nicole. She's the one that found our church. And I've just really enjoyed this book. And it's a blessing to receive this from the Buy Nothing group.
Yeah. And I would just say, rethink the way that you look at things. Birthdays and holidays, there's people within the group that got all of their kids' children's Christmas presents within the group without spending any money. Something doesn't have to be brand new to bring you joy, to bring your family joy. And it's also kind of a gift to the people giving it to you as well, because they get to see another person use it. Ian had this bracelet I got him at one of the art and wine festivals. He never wore it, never was going to wear it. we had several people that were interested in it, and they showed a picture of them wearing the bracelet, and Ian said, it looks better on that guy than it did on me. And so it's like, it's a great community to be a part of, and I can't speak highly enough of it. And it's a great way to save money. If you have a birthday this month of a family member, ask in that community and say, do you have something like this? And I bet you there's a good chance that somebody might, and they don't use it anymore. That's a way to save money.
And now, Nicole, I have a question for you. How would someone in the community here on YouTube go about finding and researching if a Buy Nothing group exists for their local city or geography?
Yeah, so there's a directory online where you can find out if there's one within your city. If you live in a decent sized city, most likely there is one already. And in some cities, there's actually like 4 or 5 groups within that one city because it's hyper local. It's just like you're kind of like within a few miles surrounding of yourself. But if there's not one in your city, and this is something that appeals to you, and you have the time to sort of moderate something like this within Facebook, it's something that you can start. You don't have to have any special qualifications or things like that. And they talk all about how you can start a group in your community. In most cases, it's on Facebook, but there's other locations for them as well.
All right, so our next money-saving tip revolves around coffee. As you know, those who have been following my channel for a while, I'm a big coffee drinker, especially being a parent, 2 young kids, keeps us really busy. And so we both do enjoy coffee. And in the month of December, actually, I shared that our family spent $400 at Starbucks. Now, this may sound crazy, but I was actually in Starbucks every day as my full-time office in the month of December. I was drinking coffee there, eating the snack packs for lunch, and Nicole was visiting Starbucks with our 2 kids, and so she was enjoying coffee, and the kids were picking up snacks as well. Needless to say, we were reviewing our finances in January, and it was a wake-up call for us to see that large expense. And so rather than get too down about the expense or kind of hide it, this is something that I just want to share with the community, because I think the most powerful thing in personal finance is just to look at the data, look for opportunities to improve, and be open with oneself. And so we set out this goal in the month of February to only visit Starbucks literally like once a week. And for me, in fact, my boss at work will cover my Starbucks once a week because I'm traveling for work anyways. I'm on very long road trips. And so this month, we have a strategy for coffee that is saving us a lot of money, and Nicole's going to discuss that particular strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of my favorite places is Costco. I love it. He loves the things that I get from Costco, so it works out well. And those of you that shop at Costco know they constantly kind of change out their product catalog. Recently, I saw in our local Costco Blue Bottle coffee, which is delicious. It's great, especially because we don't have Blue Bottle locations near us. And again, this is not the cheapest thing in the world out there. There's cheaper ways to do coffee, to get coffee, but it's a big savings as compared to going to Starbucks. What's an even bigger savings is the croissants. So you're talking $5.99 for a dozen. That's 50 cents each. And I don't even know what the croissants cost at Starbucks because they don't list the prices, probably because it would discourage people from getting so many. But I'd imagine at least $2.50 or $3. That's a dramatic savings every time you're biting into a croissant to save that money. And so for us, that's a key way that we're saving money this month. The next money saving tip might seem kind of obvious to some of you, but it was newer to our family. It's the library. I looked and we were spending about $30 to $40 a month on books. And I know that might seem like a lot, but we both love to read and we like to get books for our kids. But you know what? That adds up. And so our son, his teacher recommended, hey, you should get this book for your son. And my first instinct was open my Amazon app, add it to the cart. And before I was right about to buy it, I said $9.99? Why not see if they have it at the library? I went online, put a hold on it, went and picked it up. Right there, saved that money. And you know what? It's also a great place for activities. So, for example, our local library had a New Year's Eve celebration. Free, and it was actually a really great time. The previous year, we had gone to a New Year's Eve celebration that probably cost like $70, and quite honestly, it was very crowded and not that fun. And the library also has things like DVDs, which is great for kids things, or for yourself as well. But for us, it's been a nice family activity going to the library, knowing that we're saving money and also instilling a love of reading and learning in our children.
So just as we are saving money on coffee, we are also saving money on food these days. When you're out on the go, whether you're with kids or you're like me, you're just going to your job or you're visiting various properties, it is so tempting to eat at restaurants. But we are avoiding that temptation in 2020 and especially in Frugal February by bringing our own lunch, bringing our own food, our own snacks wherever we go. I'm doing this now during the work week, but also even on the weekend, like today when we were out with the family, we will bring our own food with us when we're out on the go. And it's not only healthier probably than eating at restaurants, but it saves a ton of money. And so Nicole, could you please explain where we're saving this money and how we're getting the food? What are some good tips in terms of getting food for a busy family on the go?
Yeah, a lot of times we're eating in the car, and this is like my favorite thing ever, these lunch boxes, the packet freezable, because the whole thing is ice. And it stays really cold. And so if Ian's going on a long kind of drive for work, like a long kind of road trip where it's like 3 hours each way, I'll just put a bunch of food in one of these for him. And if we're in the car with our kids, I pack a bunch of different snacks for them. So that way everybody's happy, because the worst thing is having some hangry people and you're stuck in the car with them. One of the things that we like are these Hillshire plates. They're not really inexpensive. Actually, they're pretty expensive at most places. But again, Costco recently started stocking these, and they're like a third of the cost since you're buying them in bulk as other stores. And so then it's like, hey, this is a really great deal. It's cheaper than getting like a similar type of thing at a coffee shop that's pre-made. Tastes the same, and we're saving a little bit of money there, and we're also just prepared. So it's not like one of these emergency stops gets a bunch of junk and snacks and sugar overload, but we're prepared and we're saving money. And better for the environment too. I will say that. I really like reusable things, reusable containers, because especially with kids, you know that they're going to need a lunch every day. You don't need to use Ziploc bags every day. There's like those bento boxes that I pack the kids' lunches in, really sturdy, and is more than paid for itself, and I also just feel better about it.
And another way that we're saving money as well is on our dates. Instead of going out to expensive dinners, for example, now we still do that from time to time for special occasions, but what we've found, most of the restaurants in our area, it's significantly cheaper to go there for lunch than for dinner. And so we think it's really important as a couple to go on dates and to enjoy our company of each other, especially having some time, just the two of us. And what we found is we just go to lunch now at some of our favorite restaurants. And at one of our favorite restaurants, in fact, they have a $15 lunch special where you get multiple courses like an appetizer, an entree, a dessert, and it's really, really good. It's only $15. Now, if we went to the same restaurant for dinner, it would cost at least $30 per person, if not more. And so it's a great way to save money. In fact, at this restaurant, they also have a wine pairing where at lunch, it's a fraction of the cost. I think if you just get the house wine with your meal, it was only like $4 or something. It is very cheap, whereas at dinner, they may charge as much as double for that for the same glass of wine.
So Ian has an affinity for designer brands and designer stores. When he and I met, we discussed how we both like shopping. And I asked him, where do you like to shop? And he said, Gucci and Louis Vuitton and Neiman Marcus. And he said, where do you like to shop? And I said, Ross and TJ Maxx. I had never even stepped foot in any of these stores that he went to. So over the years, because we've been together for a long time, I've tried to get him to be more frugal and, you know, have a appreciation for things that are on sale or less expensive. And so it went from designer brands to designer outlets. And over the years, I've been able to kind of get him to balance that with other things as well. And sometimes you find that something that costs less, you might like just as much, or if not even more. So for example, Ian really was into Ted Baker shirts. He had a closet full of Ted Baker shirts. And even at the outlets, I was saving him some money. Even at the outlets, they were like $70, $80. But as Ian's talking about...
Versus a normal cost retail, say, of $200. It was much cheaper at the outlet.
Yeah, still. So I was saving him some good money. But as Ian kind of, has talked about in other videos, he's lost a lot of weight over the years. He needed like all new clothes. And at that point, it was like, let's look at some things besides Ted Baker. And I found these Old Navy shirts that were tall, slim fit, that he wears a lot. And, for those of you that shop on Old Navy, especially online, they always have sales. So, sometimes the shirts are $18, sometimes they're $25, sometimes they're $30, sometimes they're $16, but it's a lot less than $70 or $80 outlet price for something else that you like just as much.
I'll tell you, I like these shirts even more. What's so interesting about the Old Navy one is I can get it in a size medium, but I can get it slim fit, but also extra tall. So for someone who's skinny and tall, it actually fits me better than the Ted Baker shirts. And so I still have some of those Ted Baker shirts in my closet, but I don't wear them very much. Most times when I'm wearing more of a dress style shirt, I will go for the Old Navy, which is so interesting. And I'll tell you also, when it comes to fashion, sometimes it's cool just to pair like an Old Navy with like a more expensive pair of jeans or more expensive shoes and a belt that's really nice. So some of these luxury items, for example, that I bought from years ago, some of them over like a decade ago, some of the things I have, dare to say, are even like 20 years old. They are still really good. So some of these luxury things, they've stood the test of time. I'm definitely not buying much of that stuff these days, if any. But what I like to do is just mix it up, and the Old Navy shirts work wonders for my wardrobe.
Yeah. How many of you look at a greeting card and go, $7? Are you serious? But you're buying it at the grocery store or another store like that because it's like the day before Valentine's Day and you need it, or you're going to be in big trouble. I know a lot of people do that. When I discovered the greeting card section at the dollar store, that was like a game changer for me. And it makes me so happy to know that like I can get Valentine's Day cards for my kids 2 for $1. I splurged on his. It was $1. He spent like $8 probably at the Hallmark store. Does it look that much different than the one I got him? I don't really think so. Or, I'll go when Target has these birthday cards at the dollar spot. I'll buy a bunch. And at Trader Joe's, I'll buy birthday cards when I'm there, even if it's not somebody's birthday, because then when a kid has a birthday party and we're invited to it, I'm not at the last minute stuck spending $4 or $5 or $7 on a card. I also stock up on gift bags and reuse the ones we get. I try to keep them in good condition, try to keep a mental note of who gave it to us so we don't re-gift the same one. But every time, think about it. If you spent $8 on a card and $4 on a gift bag when you could have spent 50 cents on that card and 50 cents or $1 on that gift bag, you're saving a few dollars right there every single birthday party you go to. So that's kind of an easy tip. You're still spending money, but you're kind of planning ahead when you see those cards at a discount or you happen to be in the dollar store. Think about how many birthday parties you're going to go to this year if you have kids, or the holidays that are coming up. And if Valentine's Day was a month out, or your anniversary is coming up, get that card instead of being stuck at the last minute spending $7 or $8 when you simply don't have to. The next tip is about Target, another one of my favorite stores. So you all see the signs if you shop there, spend $40 on household products, get a $10 Target gift card, or spend $100 on baby products and get a $20 Target gift card. Well, what if you saved all those gift cards and used them as gifts? $10 for your kid's teacher as part of their Christmas gift, or combine 3 of those $20 gift cards for somebody else in your life that you were already going to get a gift for. I feel like everybody loves Target. There's something for everyone. And then when it's time for you to give a present, you don't have to spend money. You already have those gift cards as a stash that you can pull from and give with a great heart without having to feel like it affected your budget. The last money-saving tip is about buying things off-season. So I grew up going to Mervyn's. So those of you from California that grew up in the 80s or 90s would remember that store. And day after Halloween, we would go and we would buy all the Halloween costumes that were like 75% off. And then the following years, that's what we would choose from because that was a great way to save money, and that's what our family could afford. And so to this day, I love looking at things that are off season and going, if our family is already going to need these things, why not get it at a 60, 70, 80% discount? It makes me happy. Now, given you don't want to get something just because it's a good price, just because it's cheap, because then you're going to end up with extra stuff and feeling guilty. But over the course of the year, you'll save a lot of money if you buy things off season that you know your family is going to need. We do have like those, plastic containers that we store some of this stuff in. And Ian always looks at me as kind of a nutty person, like buying Christmas dresses for next year. But it's like, hey, I know my daughter's going to need one, and I got it at a really great price. So we just went to the Disney outlet a couple weeks ago, and we got our son this amazing costume that was like $18. It normally would have been $60 or $70. It's a great costume. Our son said he likes it and he wants to wear it next year. So I feel good about that. I would never want to spend $70 to begin with, but now he got a nicer costume than he would have if I had bought it a few weeks before Halloween.
All right, so for the next part of our agenda, I'm going to share how we intend to save $1,000 this Frugal February. So I'm going to share on the screen right now a table that summarizes some of the things that we are doing right now to save $1,000. And so the first thing is coffee. As already mentioned, we are spending a lot of money going out to Starbucks consuming coffee. And December was kind of the outlier, and so for this table, I put the old amount, a monthly average, say $250. Now, we are not going to save all of that because we still have to pay for coffee. We're just going to have it at home, and we are having a more premium coffee at home, the blue bottle that we were discussing earlier. And so the new amount spent in the month of February is forecasted to be around $100. And so this is a $150 savings, which is fabulous. And I'll tell you, I'm still going to Starbucks once a week, and I have that treat because it's related to work. And I'll tell you, one of the things I already learned from Frugal February is that it's not this like horrible situation where you're giving up all of these things and life is no fun anymore. But in fact, by spacing it out, when I do go to Starbucks, it is so much more enjoyable. It has more meaning. It's more of an event. It's something that I can really enjoy. Whereas going there every day, it kind of desensitizes you to it. It's nothing special. It just becomes routine. And so one thing, just as a reminder to everyone doing Frugal February, is sometimes you're going to learn these insights that it's just like investing in dividend stocks. By delaying gratification or spacing it out, it makes it that much more sweet. It makes it that much more exciting to actually enjoy that outing to Starbucks. So that's one of the first things we're doing. Another thing that we're doing, actually we didn't even mention yet, is detailing cars. And so from time to time, we live in the Bay Area, and so this may sound crazy, but to get a really good car detail in our area, to have someone literally spend, say, half a day on the car, or have a team of people do that and wash it, interior, exterior, engine bay, get the sealant on it, put three coats of Carnauba wax to do a really good job, it costs about $400. And so for us, our autos get pretty dirty, with kids and crumbs and food, all kinds of stuff. And sometimes what I like to do is just pay others to do the auto detail because it takes a lot of time. But one of the things about Frugal February is it's all about challenging yourself and doing things that you may not want to do. Going back to Starbucks, I didn't want to completely withdraw from Starbucks like I am, but I'm going for it. It's a challenge. And with the car detail, look, some of you folks on the East Coast are going to laugh at this, but it's kind of cold out here now in California. It's like in the 50s and it's really cold. I don't really want to go outside and detail a car and get all wet, spend the whole day out there, and your hands get all messed up. Even you're wearing the gloves, it still gets messed up. And so that being said, I want to challenge myself. I want to do something that I don't want to do because it makes the success that much sweeter. So when I detail the car, all of the car detailing supplies, I get it from Griot's Garage. I spent money buying that stuff in the past, so it's already a sunk cost. And so I'm going to save us $400 by detailing Nicole's car this month. And I'm looking forward to doing that. It's going to take probably nearly an entire day to do it properly, but it's going to be a really exciting event. And so that's $400 savings there. Huge savings. One of the biggest single line items on our plan for saving in Frugal February. Another one is eat lunch at home. I didn't put much here, honestly. I only put $15. And the reason for this is you don't want to lie to yourself during Frugal February. So Nicole discussed all these tips, saving money. we're already doing a lot of that stuff. And so we're already at a baseline saving money throughout the year because of all of these amazing things that Nicole already discussed in the video. But Frugal February, it's not just about doing the things we're already doing to save money. It's about challenging ourselves to do things even above and beyond that. And so we're kind of already eating lunch at home. We're already not going to restaurants that much. We're cooking a lot. Nicole's cooking a lot. And so the thing here is, though, there's always room for improvement. So we think we can save about another $15 over the course of the month. But look, it's not that high. Like I could fool ourselves and put a higher number there, but it just would not be truthful because we're already eating at home. And so it's not that we're already probably saving quite a bit of money, in the hundreds per month by eating at home, but we're already doing that. And so incrementally in Frugal February, we'll do another $15 there. And so the next one, it's just kind of a random like catch-all bucket, like for clothes, like on average, like on a monthly basis, maybe we're just out and about on the weekends. We're out with the kids and we'll either buy like kids' toys or clothes for ourselves, just stuff. Like we tend to buy stuff over time. And so in Frugal February, we're just kind of drawing a line in the sand and we're going to be really conscious about our budget. We're going to try and not make any of these one-off purchases. And so we believe that could save us about $150 over the course of Frugal February. And so that actually leaves us, if you sum all of that up, it's at about $715. But look, February is not over yet. And so we're still in the middle of it. We're still trying to get creative and figure out how we will save the rest of the money, the other $285 that we need to save to get us the full $1,000 savings for Frugal February. And so we will continue to search for ways to save money. One of them, honestly, already kind of comes to mind. And this is an interesting one. It's just housekeeping. Like for a while there, we were paying other people to come and clean our house, but and we honestly don't have time. We don't have the time to clean our own house, but as of now, it looks like we don't have someone to come because we found being perfectionists and caring about the quality of our items and the condition of our home, we found that when other people were doing it, they just didn't take the level of care and things are getting scratched or nicked. And so needless to say, in Frugal February, we're going to be doing some cleaning around the home ourselves, and we really don't have the time. But again, it's about challenging ourselves. And the success at the end of the month, when we save that $1,000, it's going to be so much sweeter because we will really feel the contributions that went towards saving that amount. And so that's how we plan as of now to more or less save $1,000. But like I said, we still have a little bit of room in there where we're going to find some more ways to save before the end of this month. So in terms of the next segment, we want to share an Excel model on the screen. And so saving $1,000 in its own right is a ton of money. That's a meaningful amount of money. But one of the things we want to point out is it's so much more in the future than it is now. And it can generate so much more cash flow in the future than it does now. And whether your goal this month in Frugal February is to save $1,000, save more than $1,000, save say just $100 or $50, the point of this segment is to show you that even the power of saving $1 is huge. It's much more than it looks because of the power of compound interest. And so I'm going to share a model on the screen right now. And what this model basically shows is we're going to save $1,000, and over the course of 30 years, I'm going to compound it at 9%. On average, the stock market has grown in recent history, at least on average, about 11% per year. On average, I'm putting it at 9% just because I tend to invest in conservative dividend stocks, and I just want to be a little bit conservative in the modeling. Now, the modeling also includes reinvested dividends, and basically the way I look at this is if I have $1,000 each year, I grow it at 9%. How do I do that? I just take 1,000, I multiply by 1.09. That gets me the amount of money I'll have after 1 year, assuming all the dividends are reinvested and total returns are 9%. What do I do? What does that give me? It gives me $1,090, which is on the second line. If I take that $1,090, I multiply again by 1.09 to represent the compound interest, the 9% again, it takes it up to $1,188.10. So on and so forth, it grows over the course of 30 years. If we're able to compound this $1,000 over 30 years. It gets us to a staggering $13,000, $267.68. And so, again, the next time you're going to Starbucks or you're thinking about spending $5 or $10, it's actually not $5 or $10. It's really, say, 13 times that much if you compound it over 13 years. And so everything in the future is worth way more than it is now because of this concept of compound interest. And so a lot of people think, oh, I'm only spending $1 here or $2 there. It's not just $1 or $2. It's way more money in the future. Now, on average, an average dividend stock is yielding about 3%. I imagine 30 years from now, it's going to be possible to find a dividend stock that yields 3% in terms of current yield. And quite frankly, the stock that we buy with our $1,000, it's probably going to be a stock that yields somewhere, say, 2 or 3%. Maybe in that range right now. And I imagine after 30 years, it'll probably have a current yield still in the same range because they will have grown the dividend over time. Anyways, if you apply a 3% dividend yield to the amount, the $13,000, $267 after 30 years, it's going to generate $398 in dividends. And so this is the real magic, is that investing $1,000 right now after 30 years could be driving for us $400 nearly per month in passive income dividends that we can use to pay our bills, that we can use for our retirement years, we can use later in life to pay bills. And so our future selves will thank our present selves hugely for saving this $1,000. All right, so all this talk here about coffee, honestly, you're probably thinking, where are we going to put this $1,000 that we're saving? The more I think about it during this video is maybe we just put it in Starbucks. You know, I'm going to share some stats on the screen right now that represent Starbucks. We love Starbucks, and you know, we're foregoing Starbucks this month, so why don't we just put our $1,000 in Starbucks? And maybe it's not trading at a deep discount or a huge value or anything like that right now, but the fact of the matter is we're not looking to tap into the money from this $1,000 right away. We're going to be compounding it over the course of 30 years. And I'm pretty sure 30 years from now, Starbucks is going to be trading a lot higher than it is now with a substantially higher dividend amount as well. And so our yield on cost is going to be really fabulous.
Well, thanks for joining us today in this video, and thanks, Ian, for inviting me onto your channel for the first time. I hope some of the tips that we shared are useful, and let us know in the comments if you do any of these things yourselves or if you learned of something new.
Yeah, Nicole, thank you so much for being on the video today. I know the community is going to love hearing your insights, and so thank you, everyone. We love you all. We will see you in a future dividend investing video.